There's one thing that you can do to hook your readers and keep them turning pages late into the night. If you pull this off in your writing, your readers will be locking themselves in the bathroom and hiding from their family so that they can finish reading your book because they need to know what happens next. And this works for any genre, not just action or thriller, but romance, society, young adult, family drama, or anything else. And in this video, I'm going to break this technique down into a 3-step process. Plus, I'll give you a step-by-step exercise to add this to your own writing. You're going to love it. Now, my name is Tim Grahl. I'm the CEO of StoryGrid, where we have helped thousands of writers build their skills, write a book, and leave their legacy. I'm also the author of 6 books. My most recent is The Shithead, which has garnered praise from multiple New York Times and Wall Street Journal best-selling authors. My partner Sean Coyne is the creator and founder of StoryGrid, and he is a writer, editor, and story researcher with over 30 years of experience. And over that 30-plus year career and hundreds of books edited and published, he has a 2.5 times greater success rate of publishing profitable titles than traditional publishers. And everything I teach in this video is based on his expertise and research about how to write a book that readers will love and tell their friends about. Now, as we get started here, I have to admit something to you. Not everyone has loved my latest book. The Shithead came out back in September, and I have over 200 reviews on Amazon, which is pretty good, but some of those reviews are 2 and 3 stars. But here's what's crazy. Even people that didn't like the book finished it. And I don't know about you, but if I don't like a book, I tend to put it down before finishing it and move on to something that I think I might like better. So even people that didn't like my book still felt compelled to finish it. And by far the biggest piece of feedback I've gotten is that once people started reading it, they couldn't put it down. One reader told me she locked herself in the bathroom at a family gathering just so she could finish it. And there's no guns or explosions or car chases in my story. It's basically just a family drama. So how does this work? How do you turn your book into something that people will lock themselves in the bathroom to finish? It all comes down to stakes. And what are stakes? Well, stakes in stories refer to the potential consequences or outcomes that hinge on the protagonist's decisions and actions. They're the what happens if things go wrong part of your story. And if you want your readers to care about your story and be desperate to know what happens next, you have to make sure the decisions your protagonist is making have extremely compelling stakes. But you can't just make the stakes bigger. Making things bigger, more explosions, higher body counts, world-ending threats often makes stakes feel less meaningful, not more. You have to connect them to the reader. The key is understanding that effective stakes come from clear consequences that readers can imagine, situations that feel emotionally true, and choices that force impossible decisions. When you nail these elements, you don't need world-ending threats to keep readers turning pages. But how exactly do you do that? How exactly do you put these stakes in your stories? Well, there are 3 steps, 3 specific ways to make stakes matter more without just making them bigger. So let me show you how this works. The first is time pressure. Adding urgency changes everything. When characters have to act now, readers lean forward and want to know how the protagonist is going to pull this off. So you could have basic stakes like need to pay back a loan, have to tell her the truth, must find the missing file. But if we add time pressure, well, now it ratchets everything up a little bit. So we don't just need to pay back the loan, we need to pay back the loan by midnight or lose everything. He has to tell her the truth before she signs the contract in an hour. And we must find the missing file before the CEO arrives in 15 minutes. Just by adding time pressure, it raises the stakes and keeps the readers interested because it forces immediate action. It makes the readers feel that urgency alongside the character and prevents the characters from thinking too long about their decisions. So that's the first one. Put time urgency on all of the decisions. The second is add an element of personal cost. The stakes hit harder when they're tied to something the character deeply values. So you could have basic stakes like need to tell the truth, have to miss the meeting, or must break a promise. But if you add a personal cost, it turns into need to tell a truth that will destroy my mentor's career. Have to miss my daughter's final recital after promising I wouldn't. I mustn't break a promise to my dying father. Adding personal costs matters because it creates emotional investment from the reader. They see themselves in the character. They start asking themselves, what would I do in this situation myself? It makes the consequences feel real, and it touches on universal human experiences that we all have faced in our life. So those are the first two steps to raising the stakes in the right way in your story. Add a time urgency and add a personal cost. Now, before we go on to step 3, I want to tell you about our scene writing checklist. This is a free resource that you can download right now at storygrid.com/checklist. This will show you what it takes to write an exciting, page-turning scene. It's the exact checklist our coaches and mentors use here at StoryGrid to analyze scenes, find out what's wrong, and give helpful feedback to our students. You can access it right now for free at storygrid.com/checklist. All right, now let's get back into it. That third step in raising the stakes in your story in the right way is to have internal and external stakes. Layer what's happening on the outside with what it means on the inside to the characters. So again, you could have some basic stakes like need to win a competition, have to get the promotion, or must solve the case. But if you add an internal element to these stakes, you get need to win to prove I'm not a failure like my father always said. Or I have to get the promotion to show I've overcome my past. Or I must solve the case to regain my self-respect. This layering works because external stakes give us concrete action, and the internal stakes creates the emotional resonance with the reader. This combination feels true to life. We all deal with both external and internal pressures in our life. So that's the 3 things. You have to have time urgency, personal cost, and internal and external stakes. So what happens when you put them all together? Well, this is where the real magic happens, is when you combine all of these 3 things. So you could have something like this. By midnight, that's the time pressure, Sarah must decide whether to report her mentor's fraud, that's the external stakes. Coming clean means destroying her mentor's career and betraying the woman who believed in her when no one else would, that's the personal cost. And staying quiet means becoming exactly the kind of coward her father always said she was, that's the internal stakes. And so you can see how this is something where we now want to know what she's going to do and we want to know what happens next. That's the kind of stakes that keeps the readers turning pages. So let me show you how this works in even a big budget action movie. So I need to admit something to you. I love the Mission Impossible franchise, the whole series of the movies, and I feel like they just keep getting better and better. So while on vacation last week, my wife and I rewatched Mission Impossible Fallout. The film brilliantly demonstrates how to layer stakes in a way that makes them matter more and more. They start with the external stakes, a nuclear threat that will wipe out a third of the Earth's population. Classic, maybe even cliche action movie stuff. Then they add a time pressure. There's a literal countdown clock that creates urgency. Next comes the personal cost. An evil, sadistic villain with a personal grudge against our hero, Ethan Hunt, is threatening him and all of his friends. But then there's this masterstroke towards the end of the movie. They bring in Julia. Now, Julia was Ethan's former wife, who he had gave up everything to protect in a previous movie. So across the franchise, this is the one person whose safety has driven his choices throughout multiple movies. And suddenly, those huge world-ending stakes become deeply personal. We care not just because of the massive explosion that might happen, but because of what this means for characters we've grown to care about throughout the series. We take these big stakes and they come into one personal cost that it has to the main character. This is why a big budget action movie like Mission Impossible keeps working over and over and over, is because it's layering all of the stakes in a way that most movies don't. So let's spin up two different scenarios as examples and see how we can layer these stakes in together. So let's start with just the basic version, the basic thing. Maya needs to perform at the recital. So this is just the thing that needs to happen in the story. So now let's add a time pressure to that thing. So Maya has 2 hours to prepare for the biggest performance of her life. So you see how we took this basic version of she just needs to perform at a recital to now we added time pressure. She only has 2 hours to prepare, and this is now the biggest performance of her life. So now let's layer in a personal cost. Maya has 2 hours to prepare for the performance that will determine her music school scholarship. Her single mom worked 3 jobs to pay for 15 years of violin lessons. So now it's not just about her, it's about her relationship with her mom. It's about how hard her mom worked to give her this opportunity. And then we can layer in internal stakes. So Maya has 2 hours to prepare for the performance that will determine her music school scholarship. Her single mom worked 3 jobs to pay for 15 years of violin lessons. And after choking at nationals last year, Maya promised herself she never let fear win again. So now we take this basic thing that already has some stakes in it, performing in a recital. You can be embarrassed. You can, choke under pressure. And once you layer in time pressure, personal cost, and internal stakes, it gets so much higher and so much more interesting. And again, this isn't an action flick. This is a performance story. So let's look at another one. So the basic version would be Daniel needs to finish his research paper. Okay, well, that's pretty straightforward. Let's add a little bit of time pressure. Daniel has until morning to complete his genetics research before the grant committee meets. So let's add a personal cost. So Daniel has until morning to complete his genetics research before the grant committee meets, and the same research that could lead to treatment for his daughter's rare disease. So now the personal cost is attached to his daughter's disease, somebody he obviously cares deeply about. And then we can add internal stakes by taking that same exact scenario, but to meet the deadline, he'll have to use unethical shortcuts that go against everything he believes in as a scientist. So now those internal stakes of breaking the rules of a scientist with the external personal cost of losing his daughter and then adding the time pressure on raises the stakes to a level that the reader cares about and wants to know what happens next. You may be wondering, well, how is this going to work out for Daniel? So how do you do this in your next scene? When you're writing the next scene of your book, how do you start doing this? Well, first, examine your basic stakes. What does your character want? What's their object of desire? What is that thing that they want that they're actively pursuing throughout your scene? And then think about what happens if they fail. This is where the stakes come in. Is like, what happens if they don't get what they want? And then what are the pros and cons that they're forced to confront? Okay, so write all of that down, plan that out for your scene. And now let's see if we can up those stakes by looking at our 3 elements. So first, look for natural time pressure. Not every scene needs a ticking time clock, but when you can add urgency without forcing it, the tension rises automatically. Do they have a deadline? Is somebody coming? Is somebody banging on the door? Like, why do they have to get it done right now? Anytime you can up the time pressure, you're going to up those stakes in really relevant ways. The second is connected to a personal cost. The best stakes often involve relationships. What connections, trust, or bonds are at risk in this story? So let's add in some layers to add a personal cost. And then finally, we look at the internal stakes by tying the outcome to your character's identity or deepest fears. What truth about themselves are they facing? Your stakes are working when readers can easily imagine the consequences, both success and failure, and they matter deeply. And the choice touches something core to who your character is. So, this is one of those checklists you can go through when you're working on your scenes, looking at what's at stake in the scene and asking yourself, what's the time pressure here? Why does your character have to face this now instead of putting it off till later? What's the personal cost? What relationships in their life are they risking in order to get what they want? And then what internal stakes are they facing about their identity and deepest fears? Now, as students work through our workshops, we see some big mistakes come in around creating stakes. And I want to show you these common pitfalls that they face. The biggest one is that they create stakes that can be easily avoided or worked around. If there's an obvious solution to the character's problem, then there aren't really any stakes at all. The situation needs to force the character to make hard decisions. No clever solutions, no easy way out. Do not let your protagonist off the hook. Make them make the hard decision and face the consequences. And the consequences must matter deeply to your character. This seems obvious, but it's surprisingly easy to create stakes around things that seem important to us as authors while forgetting to make them actually important to the characters. This is why layering internal and external stakes is so crucial. It ensures the outcome matters both to the plot, the external, and to the character's inner journey. Remember, the goal isn't to make the stakes bigger, it's to make them matter more to both your character and your reader. When you nail this, you don't need world ending threats or massive explosions. A single choice that cuts to the heart of who your character is will keep readers turning pages far more effectively than any external threat. So, getting the stakes right in your stories and in your writing is fundamental to storytelling, but they're also really hard to get right on your own. That's because good stakes emerge from the unique combination of your characters, your story, and the scene you're currently writing. This is exactly what we tackle head on in our scene writing workshop. Through weekly live training and direct feedback on your writing, you'll learn how to identify the right stakes for your specific story and characters, layer tension naturally without resorting to cliches, create page turning scenes that keep readers emotionally invested, and spot and fix weak stakes before they derail your story. Plus, you'll get something even more valuable and hard to get, which is personalized expert feedback on your scenes from expert StoryGrid coaches who can show you exactly what's working and how to fix it. Our next workshop is coming up, and over 6 weeks, you'll join a small group of dedicated writers and get weekly live training, personal feedback, daily practice, and a supportive community. The last two workshops have completely sold out, so if you're interested in all, I highly recommend you go to storygrid.com/workshop to learn more. Now, if you want to keep going with learning how to write page-turning fiction, I've got another video for you that's showing up on your screen right now, so you can click that to keep learning. But either way, thanks so much for being a writer. Thanks for being a part of our community here at StoryGrid, and I'll see you next time.